just do one for nothing and start, and then I can give you some notes?
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. Perfect. Ready?
Yeah, go for it.
I had lunch with my... And this is a massive restriction, right? I think there's just going to be all this innovation that's going to come out of this time.
Cool. Let's do it again. How are you today?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Great.
Yeah. Have we started? Yes, we have.
Well, so we'll say, so we've got this prompt, right? But I would love to start there, and then we can just have a conversation too. See where it goes.
Sure. I'm ready to jump in.
Great. Like I said, we don't know what this is yet.
Sure.
So yeah, let me just, we'll start with that prompt. Tell me everything you did yesterday.
Everything I did yesterday. And then I'm working on revising my first book, Finding Your Inner Muse. And there's obligatory time on Facebook every once in a while in there. The things that I worry about, that I cannot dwell on, right? Because I can't do anything about them.
I had lunch with my husband yesterday, and his day-to-day life as an artist looks absolutely no different than it did before. He's used to just being in his studio, and he's working on some big public art commissions. So other than trying to order supplies where sometimes the warehouses are closed, his life looks the same. So we had lunch together, and then I took a nap because I always take a nap after lunch. Then in the afternoon, I'm working on revising my first book, and the publisher is getting ready to do another reprint of it with a new cover. So I spent a bunch of time reading and revising the chapters, correcting small things, and making a list of larger things I want to dig into, or stories I think I might include. And, I'm so appreciating this gift of time. My schedule was so incredibly busy going into this, lots of touring and all really wonderful things, right? But I didn't know how I was going to find time to revise this book. And now I have it and I'm loving it. After that, I had dinner and I read and I watched some, I think, Korean TV while I started a new knitting project. That was my day. Oh, and of course, there's obligatory time on Facebook every once in a while. So this global situation hasn't really disrupted my rhythm at all. In fact, it's almost enhanced it. This is exactly what my day-to-day has always looked like, having been self-employed since 1998. I already have a routine. So I'm fortunate that there isn't a lot of urgency to get a toehold in normalcy that a lot of other people seem to be struggling with. Now, I'm not saying this is a great time for everyone, but for me, I am really relishing this reconnecting with my life and myself creatively. Yes, there are worries in the middle of the night. Sometimes I do worry. The things I worry about, I can't dwell on, right? Because I can't do anything about them. My dad just turned 87 all by himself in an assisted living facility, and we couldn't go for his birthday. We couldn't be there, and we FaceTimed him, and he seemed very confused by that. And I'm a lifelong asthmatic. Just yesterday, they came out saying that people who have chronic lung diseases are at a greater risk of ending up in the hospital on a ventilator. Now, my asthma is very controlled because I'm so proactive about my health, but I had a mild case of pneumonia last month. So I have no real confidence, as healthy as I am, that I wouldn't end up on a ventilator, and that is frightening. But also, I recognize that this is going to go on for a while, and so we have to learn how to make friends with it. Yeah, right? And I think there's going to be a great flourishing that comes out of this. As an artist, I really have seen the power of how restrictions spark creativity. And this is a massive restriction, right? I think there's just going to be all this innovation that's going to come out of this time.
Record this. So welcome, Colleen.
Thank you.
So really the question we're asking is to walk me through your day yesterday, like everything you did that you can remember.
Yeah. Yesterday, I would say, is a little atypical compared to like our Monday through Friday, because such a big part of this experience has been doing the homeschooling. I'm someone that's always been involved with my kids' education anyway, and trying to, give enrichment. And my daughter is in middle school, so Chromebook that the school gave out, and my middle child is, such a bright kid, but he just hates buckling down and doing work. But at the same time, he's also doing a lot of fun, creative things. I have a first grader, a 6-year-old so I am basically following his schedule. Such a weird thing to process. I keep telling them this is something that I've never gone through, and your grandparents have never gone through. This is like, I'm trying to diffuse those feelings and really just stay positive for the sake of my family.
And what about you? Are you finding time for yourself, or it must be kind of crazy to have everyone home all the time?
You know what I did yesterday, actually? I was trying to think, like when you said, can you describe what your day was? The thing I did yesterday was I had to go to the pet store. As I was seeing all the businesses that were closed, the local music store that, and the bookstores, and it was the first day that I really felt sad. I don't know if I'll be saying this weeks from now, if it's going on, but.
So yeah, whenever you're ready.
I'm someone who's always been involved in my kids' education, and this has definitely been a struggle. We're trying to figure it all out. And my daughter is in middle school. She's 13. She's got her Chromebook from the school and is doing virtual classes. My middle child is such a bright kid. He just hates buckling down and doing work. He's a procrastinator. And then I have a first grader, my 6-year-old, and he's kind of the child that likes to be on that schedule and in that routine. And there's all these amazing tools online, but I don't want the kids just online all the time. We've always been parents that try to limit that and are very aware of what they're actually doing on there, just in a proactive manner, because there are so many, dangers and bad stuff out there. But I don't know. Our son, who's in 6th grade, he loves playing Xbox. Usually we're really limiting that because otherwise he'll just zone out on it. But now he's talking to all these other boys in his class on there, and it's a way they're all reconnecting. So he's sitting there all day doing these lessons, at the kitchen table, and then he needs to chit chat with his friends to let off steam. It's like, I get it. I feel like, maybe it's just about finding that balance. They need some time to, zone out a little bit too, because this is such a weird thing to process. I keep telling them, this is something that I've never gone through, and your grandparents have never gone through. And this is something that is very unprecedented and unexpected and unusual. I'm usually someone that gets very, heated about politics, and I could easily go off about my feelings to everyone, about the current president and placing blame, but I feel like I'm just trying to diffuse those feelings and just stay positive for the sake of my family. Actually, you know what I did yesterday? I think yesterday. The days are bleeding together so much. So anyway, I had to go to the pet store, and I drove by myself, and when I was driving around downtown, nobody was around. And I could actually drive down Main Street. And it was the first day that I really felt sad, because I was seeing all the businesses that were closed. The local music store and the bookstores And the big concert venue in town had a big sign that said, "We'll be here when this is all over," or something. And then I'm seeing people walking their dogs and wearing the masks and everything. And it just kind of hit me because I'm mostly at home. And it made me sad just to be out and see others, And I was hoping this wouldn't be like this for that long. I was hoping that it won't stay like this for very long before it gets back to normal. But then when I was driving home, I wound up cranking up the tunes in my car and putting on some of my favorite music and singing along because that's what's always been very cathartic for me. Like the private in the car rock out session. And I did that. And it felt very cathartic. It felt really good. And I was like, oh my gosh. I thought, I haven't been alone that much. And it was just great. And now, I'm thinking that that's something I could continue doing if I need to.
Is there any advice you would give that person from 3 months ago?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I would say to be gentle on yourself.
I don't, I guess maybe relax into it more.
Because when the moments where I was not feeling as positive super mom, when those moments came, they made me feel very down on myself and
really we can get so dogmatic in what we think we should be doing, and we don't leave space to figure out what we want to do, what we can do, what we're capable of.
Kind of like an analogy, I guess. If I have this strong train of thought at night that keeps me up, instead of like standing in front of that train, just kind of seeing the train and letting it go by.
Sometimes I go through the stages of grief. There were times where I'd go through that many times a day.
So at that point, we thought it was going to be like a month or so. So that was a big moment when it was like, oh wow, this isn't just like, a couple weeks to this.
That seems like so long ago, right? That was 3 months, and so much has changed since then. But so many things have remained the same.
It'll be really interesting to look back on this time years from now and sort of analyze a lot of it.
So I guess just settle back and enjoy the ride. Because it's crazier than we ever could have imagined.
I'm a very sentimental person anyway. I might look back and miss that someday.